This MDM Spotlight is sponsored by Zilliant. Zilliant solutions help B2B companies solve a wide range of pricing and sales challenges, giving them more strategic control of their business performance with an innovative blend of data science and software solutions. Zilliant's outcome-based focus and cloud-native platform give company leaders the confidence and know-how to stay competitive now and in the future. Learn more how Zilliant helps companies reimagine pricing and sales at www.zilliant.com.
Welcome to this MDM Spotlight series. Today's broadcast is about step up your pricing game with automated negotiation, sponsored by Zilliant. I'm John Gunderson, I'm SVP of Analytics at MDM. And in my career, I have led pricing for organizations such as HD Supply and Annixter, and in the Genuine Parts organization on a distribution side. And I think stepping up your negotiation with automating it, I think is a critical step for us to go forward. And before I dive into some details, I want to introduce my co-host, Todd Pate from Zilliant. Todd, can you share a little bit about your background, please?
Sure, John. I'm Todd Pate. I'm a business solution consultant at Zilliant. I've spent 20 plus years in the pricing space and led pricing at a number of manufacturers, selling into distribution at places like Dell Computer, Trane, heating and air conditioning, and Motorola Mobility.
Oh, that's great. So a lot of HVAC, a lot of really good, pertinent experience, and I think that's great. So I think you're going to bring a unique perspective to this. So Todd's going to really jump into how the negotiation game has changed in distribution. And for those of you that have been in distribution most of your career, I've been in industrial and construction distribution. Construction distribution and the pricing game differs from industrial, but he's going to show you some concepts and how to bring tools that Zilliant provides in to make you more effective. Because this year, 2020, we've got supply side problems and we have demand side problems. So you've got customers that are getting squeezed on price at the top. You've got manufacturers that are giving you price increases at the bottom. You as a distributor are really going to have to work hard and efficiently to get paid for your value this year. And the more automated you can get versus manual, the more effective you're going to be and the more profit you're going to take to the bottom line. So Todd, at this point, I'm going to flip it to you. And if you could really start us on your slides, that'd be great.
Sure thing, John. So as you touched on, clearly the world is different when it comes to what customers expect in pricing. I think increasingly what we're seeing, not just in distribution, but across a number of industries, is that the typical relationship is evolving and the expectation is set on more of a B2C type of experience, even in a B2B market. And that's understandable given that all of our customers are consumers themselves and they, on an increasing basis, are using the internet to buy on a more regular basis. So how do we take account of that fact and incorporate it into not only how we set price for customers, but then how we negotiate with them? As you take a look at the diagram we've got mapped out here, you could see there are a number of constituents, a number of interactions, a number of factors that go into setting price. There's almost so many that the complexity can be overwhelming. And it really starts, if you think about kind of a top-down model, with company executives and leaders in areas like category management, or maybe in like a price management team, setting up overall strategies for where do we want to play in the marketplace, what's our relative value to our competition, how do we want to position ourselves, and then using pricing strategies as a way to manifest that process. Of course, strategies are great as a starting point, but then they have to live in the real world. So you've got a whole set of triggers that have an impact on what strategy gets employed. And those triggers can come very, very quickly from a variety of different sources, from Our customers themselves can be a trigger point. Our competitors are often a trigger point. Commodities and vendor costs are triggers to ultimately what kind of changes we need to make in our pricing strategy. And if that wasn't difficult enough, that's just really the starting point. We have to go through all of that setup to put a first price in front of a customer. And because of this evolution towards more of a B2C type of expectation and experience, customers increasingly are expecting to see tailored pricing for them, and almost a cart-like experience when they go to make their purchases. So having just a universal price, a list price or a matrix price, oftentimes isn't good enough. So we're seeing an increased rate in the number of customer-specific prices. Well, to get to that customer-specific price, there's a level of negotiation required. You've got to start from that initial price point that's based on strategy and ultimately negotiate it down to a very specific customer price. And going through that process of negotiation can be cumbersome. It's often run by individuals that aren't very well equipped, quite honestly, to negotiate well. And so they oftentimes will default to pleasing a customer and trying to get them a price as quickly as possible so that they can process the order and move on to the next problem. So it's far from optimal. In fact, some of the research that we've seen with the diagnostic work that we've done with hundreds of customers indicates that the average distributor is leaving 5% of profit dollars on the table by not being able to negotiate as effectively as they could in this process. Yep. So the question is, what are we to do? What are we to do as companies that have to take on this responsibility for setting price and negotiating? And that's where automated negotiation comes in. Now, automated negotiation is a fairly new phenomenon, and it's been enabled through the advent of big data and big data science capabilities that allow companies to take on this process that historically has been a very manual process and be able to apply science to it.
Yep.
So let's take a step back and think about how data science can be applied to an automated negotiation process. Imagine a situation where, as the result of setting your price strategy, you're able to create recommended pricing at a high level. Not just an optimal price point for the products that you sell, but a range of prices. So given the attributes of the customer and the products they're buying and the order characteristics, there is a range of acceptable prices and price guidance. You can use that range that's being generated for your optimal price setting in order to help set a negotiation window. And that negotiation window doesn't have to be administered by people. It could be set up with business rules configured into your pricing tools to help automate that negotiation process. So imagine a world where you start with a price point for a customer. The customer is self-serving themselves through some type of portal that you provided and has requested a special price because they've either seen a recent drop in commodities or they have been potentially shopping you around and have a different price in hand from a competitor. Mm-hmm. Now they have the ability to request that price directly through a portal. And with the information that you have around what constitutes a good price, what an actual price envelope is, you can set up an automated negotiation process to intelligently be able to agree on a price with a customer based on a series of algorithms and approve it automatically. As long as that final price is within that window that's already been pre-approved window of guidance, then the price is approved. No further review needed. Alternatively, if customers are using that same portal and requesting prices that are outside the bounds of what a good price is for similar customers buying similar products with similar order characteristics, you still have the ability to route that through a more traditional review process. It would be typically sent back to your sales team, who would then review it with an internal pricing team. And in combination, you would come back and either approve or push back with the rejected and put a counter proposal in front of that customer.
Yeah.
But either of those situations, both automated or traditional negotiated pricing process can be administered through the same solution.
While you were talking through this, it really occurred to me that in my history as a distributor, what I'm hearing at a high level is you're setting a fair price, a profitable price at the customer level,
Right.
at the SKU level. You are setting a floor that you're willing to go down to. So you've got a fair price and a not to go below floor. And it gives the customer the ability to instantly negotiate between fair price and floor and do a deal without having to have approval by your people. The secondary thing I think it does is if they go below the floor that you've set, and it's, you know, a lot of business rules, it really goes for management sign off. So the way I view this is exactly how 90% of distribution pricing teams run their business today. They set a fair price, they have a floor. You want to go below floor, you got to talk to someone. So you take the human being out of this and you automatically get more profitable. That would be my feedback. What do you, is that
I think you nailed it, John. That's exactly how this is intended to work. The only thing I would add to your comment,
sure,
is that when you traditionally price floors are oftentimes, particularly in a distributor's world, are oftentimes based on a margin target. And that's the result of the reality of just dealing with hundreds of thousands or millions of individual SKUs and the complexity of managing such a large number across such a large number of customers.
Yep.
But again, in today's environment with big data science tools like Zilliant that are able to set price guidance, not necessarily based on margin, but based on the attributes of similar customers buying similar products with similar order sizes and other order characteristics, you're able to define a good price and a price floor based on relatively what other prices are showing up in your business and actually getting deals done and items sold through at those prices. And using that as opposed to kind of a broad proxy of a margin-based price floor.
Yeah, you're really, if I can interject, you're really using intelligence of the system, of the pricing system and input at the customer level and customer type to let the system really set a really true fair price and a floor without you having to do it. I think one of the big advantages is if the traditional way a distributor does it, where they set a system price and they have a floor, all the associates know where the floor is or what the level of approval is.
Right.
When they get customer feedback, the tendency is I'll just go right above the floor so I can get this approved.
Right.
And it creates a lot of margin compression for you. What this does is it lets the customer, most of the time they're going to be well above your floor, so to speak, and you're going to be more profitable. They're going to be a happy customer, and you're going to also take work off your associates' plate. They're not going to have to think through how they handle that customer. I just think this is, think about it as what I call digital way to do what you're doing manually today, much better.
And, in addition to not only being able to use your predefined strategies to help actually negotiate a better price, a fair price, but a better price, to be able to go out and capture that 5% of profit opportunity that a lot of distributors leave on the table during negotiation. Not only does it solve that math problem for you, but from a customer perspective, it creates a better experience.
Sure does.
You're able to still go through a negotiation-like process. You're able to do it in a self-service way. You're able to request a price, and you're able to get approval instantaneously from a negotiation engine that is coming back and saying, yeah, the price you're asking is still fair as we evaluate it relative to similar customers to yourself buying similar items.
Yeah, it's really, you really have presented it well. Plus, the other thing I'd say is think of all the data points you have. You actually have a digital data point of the negotiation process, including the times it goes down for additional approval.
Right.
Normally, all you've got is Mary or Jimmy or John talking to a customer, and they're doing this, and you can't learn from that. This system will learn as it goes. And I just think this is really where distribution pricing is going. And I really thank you for the presentation. And, you know, Todd, I'm sure this will be the first of many that we do together, but I think you did a really great job explaining how this is a digital way to do what you're doing manually today as a pricing leader in distribution or manufacturing. And it's something you should look at.
Thanks, John. Yeah, it's a powerful tool, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to share it.
Thank you for your time and attention. If you wish to contact Todd or myself, please use the information on the screen to contact us, and we appreciate your time and support. Have a great day.